That's enough for me. Okay, notes are pinned to the top. Check. Record meeting. Check. I think we're good to go. A few opening remarks. Just want to welcome everyone in. This is our first webinar, so bear with us tonight if we do experience any technical difficulties. We appreciate a little grace. I do see a lot of familiar faces in the room, which is super awesome. I really appreciate your support. I also see a few new faces too, so welcome aboard, and want to thank everyone for being here. And again, a link to the assets for tonight is available at the top of the chat there. And within that page, about halfway down on the right-hand side is the actual presentation itself. So if you'd like to follow along at home, that's where you can find the actual presentation itself. Otherwise, I'll be presenting from my screen. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dan Olsavsky. I'm a product designer and UX and UI mentor with more than 20 years experience across startups and some of the world's largest brands. So just recently, I founded Big Nerd Academy to help product teams build smarter and more confidently using AI accelerated workflows. Our agency, it's called Big Nerd Design, partners with startups and enterprise teams to design and launch digital products through a blend of human-centered UX and AI-powered speed. With me tonight, I'm joined by two designers whose perspectives have changed how I think about AI and product design. First up, we're going to hear from Steph Nat. She's a UX designer from PNC Bank. She's going to show us how she uses AI to boost quality and collaboration with engineering, particularly through design systems. And after Steph, we'll hear from Jake Redmond, former TD Bank product designer and currently founder of the Mimetic Design Lab. He's going to share how teams can maintain culture and values while introducing non-human helpers, as I like to call them. It's our agenda for tonight. So here's how tonight's going to go. Each presentation is going to run for a little bit, followed by a short Q&A session. We'll have you drop your questions in the chat at any time. I'll be monitoring that. I'll do my best. If for some reason we're running short on time, we may have our presenters answer your questions directly in the chat. I've got a few time checks on my end, so we'll see how that goes and I'll let you know. After both talks, we'll jump into the hands-on workshop where we'll brainstorm, build, and user test an app in under an hour using a few AI-powered tools. This session is being recorded, and we'll have the replay ready for you tomorrow. All right, Steph, the floor is yours. Take it away. Supercharged by AI, grounded by context.
Thank you. So to get started, I'm sorry, let me, technical difficulty number one. 1 second, please. Oh my goodness. Embarrassing.
Oh, you're fine. It's all good. Take your time, Steph.
All right.
If it's any easier for me to stop presenting.
Yeah, I'm just having issues getting it onto like my actual presentation. All right. Well, I'm sorry, guys. Please don't mind me. I'm just going to talk from here if that's okay. Thank you for coming to my talk about supercharged AI and being grounded by context. I wanted to start this talk off by focusing on one key word. That word is context. And what does context mean? The definition of context is the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea in terms which it can be fully understood and assessed. You might be thinking, I know what context is, but did you know that there is a part of the LLM's interaction called the context? This is the part that lets AI have history on your conversation, and without it, the answers would not make sense in context of one another. For those of you who do not know, let me read you what the definition of an AI is. A large language model, which is also known as an LLM, is a language model trained with self-supervised machine learning on a vast amount of text designed for natural language processing tasks, especially language generation. Here are 4 high-level steps that explain how LLMs generate responses. First, breaking down your input. Your text is split into tokens or chunks of words and characters and converted into numbers the model can process. Next, pattern matching. The model will search through patterns it learned from training data to understand what you're asking and what typically comes next. Third, predicting one word at a time. The model is going to generate responses predicting the most likely next word, and then the next, and then the next, building the full response sequentially. And lastly, probability and selection. At each step, it calculates probabilities for thousands of possible next words and picks one based on those probabilities, with some level of randomness for variety. Think of autocomplete on steroids whenever you think of how LLMs generate responses. The model is essentially doing a very sophisticated what word comes next prediction based on massive amounts of text it's seen before. And after understanding more about how LLMs are going to be generating results, it may be time to consider where using this tool might make the most sense. I like to think of it like the process of baking. Before you're baking a new recipe, you might want to read through it completely, gather ingredients, or even understand the technique. When applying the same principle in mindfulness to AI, instead of just jumping in with questions, you might want to think about what you're trying to accomplish, consider what information or context the AI might need, frame your question or task clearly, maybe do a little bit of groundwork. The underlying principle here is that AI works best when it's treated as a collaborative tool that benefits from thoughtful setup, not as a magic box where you throw in your random queries. Just like you're not going to ask a consultant a vague question without any context, giving AI clear direction and relevant information typically gets you much better results. When we think about opportunities to apply this principle with design systems, it can be tough to think about ways to use AI that support giving more context. I have one example of a design system use case that I thought might help inspire some new approaches of using AI in current workflows regarding your design system. For context, I was given the task to review icons in our Figma file and our development team's component library. The goal I had was to see if there was a better way to implement our icons. As I was going through the component library page, which hosted the icons used by our development teams, I noticed many different styles, sizes, and colors that were in use. The problem here was a lack of alignment between implementation and design of our interface icons. We also saw opportunities to improve what we were providing consuming design teams. And to no one's fault, we just knew that this could be better. We needed to understand more about how current usage for icons were out there today. So what are developers using? What are designers providing? What are best practices moving forward? And how can we create more consistency between all of our experiences? I started my research by reviewing what we have in the component library. Utilizing the inspect tool, I was able to find the root CSS file for the available icons and their properties. And by saving this CSS file as a PDF, prompting AI to help me reorganize the code into a list of icon uses and properties outlined in the style sheet, I was able to generate summaries that could fulfill the answers to the questions I had relating to usage. I was also enabled to generate a cheat sheet for things like basic icon sizing, theme-based color classes, icons used as prefixes or suffixes, icon buttons, hidden icons for accessibility to screen readers. After I verified the findings with our developers, we use these generated cheat sheets to reference when continuing research. These findings helped inform us of all kinds of things like sizes, properties, and use cases we are currently supporting. We were also able to harness that information to see patterns of use, misalignment, or determine needs in a way that promotes using AI as a collaborative tool that benefits from thoughtful setup, not as a magic trick to do the work for you. And to kind of show an example of what the input and output looked like whenever I was doing this exercise. On the left-hand side, you can see it's just a style sheet that I pulled off of the web. And for purposes of this presentation, this is actually from Airbnb's website. And I plugged this into AI. I used at home Claude to be able to see this generated sheet. The things that AI enabled me to do, I was able to really quickly synthesize a large CSS style sheet about our current usage of icons with no manual effort. It was really easy to export the sheet, add it to Copilot, and ask for this list. It was super fast. Next, I was easily able to see gaps in icon styles that we were using today by reviewing the generated summaries. At the end of it, I had a well-formatted list that I was able to use to find these inconsistencies much easier. And then additionally, the summarized data helped me get ahead whenever it came time to share my findings with the rest of my team. Always double check your summaries. Just because you plugged in data doesn't mean that it gave you back the exact thing that it should have. Lastly, utilizing all of the data that I just generated about the icons being used in the CSS style sheet, I was able to draft a plan for consolidation. And this plan was just a talking guide that we were able to use in future meetings. It also included a list of all the sizes and properties being used, allowing us to anticipate needs of consuming development crews. Now, this is a list of the things that I had to do to make sure that the task got completed. I had to review and verify the findings with development. I had to make sure that I'm not working in a vacuum, and I had to lean into our development team to make sure that the data was accurate. I also had to do research on other design systems and review other resource articles to understand if we had opportunities to improve our approach. Lastly, I had to facilitate conversations around this topic. I did this by talking with teams in a collaborative group setting. It is really important to remember that icons are a huge part of the design ecosystem, and we wanted to hear more from our users about what should come next. And then by using a review session to get actionable feedback, we were also able to get helpful insight to complete this task. What this approach is offering us is that, one, we are not spending hours of our valuable time on something that AI can do effortlessly. Two, we're building trust between team members, calling on their expertise, connecting with them on work that we are trying to complete. And then third, we are offering a reasonable way to embed AI into the workflow without abusing or overusing. Dr. Timnit Gebru is the founder and executive director of Distributed Artificial Intelligence Research Institute. Prior to that, she served as a co-lead on the ethical AI research team at Google until her firing in 2020, along with her co-lead, for writing a paper that was warning of the dangers of large language models and raising issues of discrimination in the workplace. If you read through this quote, you can see that she's calling out that we are seeing a kind of Wild West situation in regards to AI regulation. And at the scale at which businesses are adopting AI, the technology isn't matched by clear guidelines to regulate algorithms and help researchers avoid the pitfalls of bias in data sets. Bias is just one of the risks that are concerning when it comes to AI. In a blog article posted under IBM's Think article archive, they call out 10 dangers and risks we face when using AI. And just thinking locally to Pittsburgh, AI demand is driving growth of local data centers in our communities. When you look up the environmental impacts, AI takes crazy amounts of water to cool its processing hardware. Did you know that large data centers can consume up to 5 million gallons per day, equivalent of the water use of a town populated by 10 to 50,000 people? And with larger and new AI-focused data centers, water consumption is increasing alongside energy usage and carbon emissions. With serious environmental impact concerns, job losses, IP infringement, data privacy issues, and much more, it reminds us of the risks and impact of these tools. And like I said in the beginning of the presentation, AI works best when you treat it as a collaborative tool that benefits from thoughtful setup. Use, but do not abuse. Thank you.
Hey, that was great. Thank you, Steph. That was an awesome presentation. Very hands-on. I like that you provide both sides of the argument there as well. Let's see some emoji love for Steph. If you haven't figured it out by now, we love our emojis around here. Some extra emojis for being brave and being our very first presenter as well. So thanks for stepping up and taking that on. I really appreciate that. Yeah, awesome. Okay, I think I'm reading through the chat. A little slow. Okay, there we go. I'm with you. I think we're going to take any questions for Stephanie in the chat, if you have any. And Steph, if you'd like to hang around for a little bit and answer any questions as they come in, you can give me a thumbs up if that works for you. Awesome. We started a couple minutes late. That was my fault, but also my intention. So that's okay. We're a little casual around here. All right. Let's see what we got next for you. We do have Steph's information here as well. So if you'd like to connect with Steph, her info is on this slide, as well as at the end of the presentation. We also have Steph's information on our webinar hub on that link that's pinned to the top of the chat there. So if you'd like to get Steph's information, you can get it for any one of those spots. Thanks again, Steph. Okay, Jake, you're up next. We ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Take it away, Jake.
All right. Can you see my screen there?
It's coming. Got it. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Take it away. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. So I want to use my time tonight to talk about a lie that some of us are currently telling ourselves. And it looks something like this, that speed equals progress. Right now, everyone in this room is operating under the same mandate. Integrate AI, increase velocity, ship faster. And on the surface, it looks like we're winning. You know, if you look at a dashboard, you know, the charts are going up. We have more code committed, more designs shipped, more content generated. By every traditional metric, we are moving faster than ever. But if we're honest, if we turn off the dashboard and look at our actual teams, we may start seeing somewhat of a different picture. We have tools that make us infinitely faster, and yet many of us are feeling less productive than ever. And we see soaring efficiency ratings, but if we're honest, we also feel soaring burnout. The machine is running at maximum capacity, but are we actually sure it's actually going in the right direction? Now, this is not a failure of effort. It's a systematic trap. And we are managing what I call automated chaos. By focusing entirely on the speed of our output, we have neglected the quality of the input. And so we need to pause the assembly line, because if a team's logic is broken, AI won't fix that. It will just scale the dysfunction. Now, to understand why we accept this chaos, we have to look at the relationship with the tools themselves. The media philosopher Marshall McLuhan famously taught us that every technology is an extension of human capability. So the wheel is an extension of the foot, or the camera is an extension of the eye. So what is AI? AI is an extension of the central nervous system. It extends our mind. But McLuhan warned of a specific side effect. He called it narcissist narcosis. And it's a physiological numbness. When you extend a part of your body or your mind, you have to numb yourself to deal with the shock of the new power. Right now, we are so entranced by the speed of AI that we are becoming numb to the cultural pain that it is causing. We are building a culture where the goal is to finish, not to think. So how do we wake up from this numbness? Well, I think that we need to adopt a new mantra, and what I've been calling it for myself is logic before pixels. Now, as product builders, we already know this truth. We know that if the underlying database is corrupt, no amount of UI polish will save the feature. The screen is just the surface, but the logic is the engine. But here's what I want us to consider tonight, and that is that your team is also a product. We keep trying to polish our culture with new tools, more Slack channels, more Jira workflows, more AI agents. But these are just the pixels. And we sometimes ignore the underlying logic, the incentives, the safety, and the rituals that drive actual behavior. This requires a fundamental shift in identity. We need to stop acting like engineers of a machine and start thinking like gardeners of an ecosystem. An engineer thinks that if they pull the efficiency lever, the machine works better. A team is not a machine. It's a complex system. A gardener knows that you can't force a plant to grow. You can only design the conditions, the soil, the constraints, and the incentives that allow the right work to emerge. The engineering mindset asks, how do we go faster? The gardening mindset asks, is the soil healthy enough to support this speed? Now, I know you may be thinking, Jake, we have deadlines. Like, why do we need to slow down for gardening? Well, that's because we are running 21st century software on 200,000-year-old hardware. We are Homo ritualis, the ritualizing human. Anthropologists have found that whenever humans face high uncertainty, whether it's an ancient famine or a modern AI pivot, we don't just work harder. We have a biological craving for ritual. Here's how the mechanism works. When the market shifts and work feels chaotic, your amygdala interprets that ambiguity as a threat. It physically hijacks the part of your brain responsible for deep strategy. A ritual stops that hijacking. It acts as a safety signal. It tells your nervous system that despite the speed outside, there is order inside. Most importantly, rituals create what anthropologists call the casual void. Think about a wedding toast. Does raising a glass make a marriage legally binding? No, it really has no utility, but it's deliberately inefficient. And that's the point. Efficient systems are designed to eliminate friction, but rituals are designed to introduce it. The void where the efficiency used to be, that's where trust can grow. Now, I want to make a distinction so that we don't confuse rituals with routine. Most of us have daily stand-ups and we have retros. Those are usually routines, and those are about maintenance. What did you do yesterday? Is the server up? Routines keep the machine running. They're incredibly important. But a ritual is different. A ritual is about transformation. So, one second, sorry about that. I went early. Okay, so a ritual is different. A ritual is about transformation. So how do we bring this human tech into the modern product team? We use what I like to call a ritual prototyping. This means treating your culture exactly like your product. You don't launch a massive reorganization and hope that it works. You ship small, repeatable interactions, little micro features for your team, and you test if they actually change behavior. And the best part is that you don't need to be the boss to do this. Because these are prototypes, not policies, you don't need permission to start. Now, again, I know that there may be some objections. You know, we're already sprinting. We don't have time to stop to implement rituals. But here's the truth. The AI just gave you the time. We have tools now that write code and synthesize research in seconds. And that has created a massive surplus in velocity. So the key here is to not spend that surplus on more tickets. We have to reinvest it. Use the speed gained from AI to buy the time that we need for strategy. So here's one specific ritual prototype that you can run with your team. I call it the assumption audit. Before you let AI generate a single solution, you ban the solution. You force the team to list every assumption that they're making about the product, the user, the data, the market, any assumption at all. This transforms the team by shifting the metric from the output to the input. In a high-speed system, thinking usually looks like stalling, but by forcing the specific inefficiency, you create a costly signal. You're spending your most valuable resource, velocity, to buy clarity for something invisible, which is clarity. So this proves that safety to think isn't just a poster, it's an operational reality. You transform your team from simply ticket movers to who blindly trust AI to architects who validate the logic before the machine scales it. We are at a crossroads. I am not asking you to stop using AI. I want you to use these tools to automate the drudgery and to extend your mind. But we have a choice to make every single day. We can operate by default, and we can take that new speed and just accelerate the dysfunction. This is the automated chaos. Or we can operate by design. We can take the velocity that AI gives us, and we can use it to pause. We can use that to become architects who define the inputs, or a gardener who protects our teams. The machine offers infinite velocity, but it demands our clarity. If you feed it chaos, you will just get chaos faster. So take the time to fix the logic, because in this new world, the fastest way to move forward is to stop and think. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake. I love the presentation. Very thought-provoking. It was philosophical. All right, it's Jake's turn. Let's see some emoji love for Jake in the chat. And that one really got me thinking, Jake. It's almost like we're about to build something with AI, and that you really want us to focus on the inputs so that we can get better outputs. I don't know. That's what I just picked out. Ben's got a comment. Yes, garbage in, garbage out. Right. I like to say good inputs equal awesome outputs. However you want to say it, for sure. Yeah, very reflective. That was awesome. I'm sure later in your evening you'll think of something to ask Jake. And if you do, I've got his information here for you on this slide. Can everyone still see my screen here? I'll take a couple thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. I don't see any questions for Jake. So I think I'm going to keep us moving along. But again, Jake's info, you can find it here in this presentation as well as on our webinar hub. If you're looking for the link for our webinar hub, it's pinned to the top of the chat. You can find it there. And on that page, you'll be able to find the downloadable materials for the exercise, which we're about to get into right now. I think we are good to roll into, awesome, I see some hands clapping. All right, we're ready to roll it into our workshop. A little more information about what's going to happen here. Over the next 50 minutes, we're going to brainstorm, build, and user test an application using Lovable, UserBrain, and ChatGPT. So our goal this evening is not to rush. It's to show how AI removes the slow mechanical steps from our process so that we can focus on clarity and better decisions backed by real user feedback. So this session is going to feel like it's moving fast. I can tell you that for sure. We've done this a few times already, but we've built in a little time into each step for folks to catch up. So a little more on our workflow in the lower right-hand corner there. We are going to do these together. We're going to create a Lovable account. If you already have one, don't worry. Got some notes on that for you coming up. We're going to brainstorm a build prompt for Lovable. We're then going to have Lovable build and refine a prototype for us in Lovable. Send it to UserBrain for some feedback. So depending on your time zone, you may get feedback a little bit faster or perhaps a little bit slower than some of the others. And then lastly, we will review those insights and take a look at some of the next steps. So everything that I'm going to show you tonight is a repeatable process. We've been using it for several months now. It's the same process we use with our clients, as well as the same process that we teach our students and product teams. So very repeatable process, but again, it is going to move fast. So if you feel a little overwhelmed, feel free to let me know in the chat. You could just leave a message in there. And again, I've got a little bit of extra time built into each one of these steps for folks as well. So no rush. We're looking for quality over quantity. And again, good inputs equal awesome outputs. Okay, next slide. What do we got for you? Lovable registration. All right, it's time to get hands-on. We're going to get started by creating our Lovable accounts using the link on this page. It should take you roughly a minute. All you'll have to do is enter your name. I'm going to drop this link into the chat as well. All you'll need to do is just enter in your name and create an account password. And once you're in, you should land on the main dashboard. Once you're at that point, I'll have you pause. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that sign up link into the chat for you. All right. And again, if I mentioned this a moment ago, if you already have a Lovable account, tonight's exercise shouldn't take you any more than roughly 15 credits. So that's what I'll be providing through this invite link, which give me just a moment to pull it up here on my side. I keep getting a redirect because I'm already logged in. So I think we're just going to go ahead and log out and we'll try.
I just dropped that in the chat for you.
I was just going to ask. There you go. Thank you. Did you get it? I end with MCAT. Oh, you got it. Thank you, Steph. You're the best. Awesome. And if you already have a Lovable account and for some reason you're out of credits, let's just say a fresh Gmail address has been known to work wonders. So that should get you in. And I will give folks a couple minutes here just to get in and get on their dashboard. If you hit any issues, just drop a note in the chat and we'll keep an eye on it there. And while folks finish up, here's what you can expect once we start building. So we're going to have Lovable take our prompt that we write together and generate a full working application. Marcelo, if you're out there in the chat, I have some special instructions that I'm going to send you to get us started on our project this evening. But otherwise, we will all be creating our own applications. This includes the screens, the front end, the back end, and all the logic in between. So this is what makes it possible to build something real in under an hour. We're going to do this in Lovable. And it's showing me on my end that a few folks have used my link, but I can't see how many exactly. So if you're still signing up, no worries. You can join in the build step whenever you're ready. That's going to be our next step. Don't see anything in the chat. Are we feeling pretty confident out there? Can I see some emojis? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, that's making me feel pretty good. I think we can move into creating the prompt that's going to power our app. Now on our next slide here, we're going to do a little heads down brainstorming. So before we jump into our build, we need an idea to work with. So this first step is going to be all about clarity. Again, Jake's presentation really focused on good inputs equal good outputs. That's what we're looking for here. The stronger the idea, the better the build's going to be. So I'm going to task you with thinking of a simple problem you run into in your everyday life or at your job. It could be something just for yourself, something small, something specific, and something solvable. So your idea does not have to be perfect. It does not need any research or any strategy. In just a moment, we'll take a few minutes to go heads down and create this first prompt. Let's see if it's going to allow me to copy and paste that into the chat, or if it's going to give me some issues as well. But I will go ahead and copy and paste this into the chat for you. And from this template, we're going to need you to fill in the audience, the use case, and up to 3 simple features for your application. So right now we should be starting to think about what we want to build. Maybe you already have an idea. I know Marcella showed up. You showed up with an idea. So this is where we can go heads down and start to brainstorm. We do have a worksheet available in the downloadable section in that webinar hub. It's actually the first link right below the 3 PDFs. You can also make a copy of that worksheet. That might be a little helpful. And in addition, at the very bottom of that worksheet, maybe you're stuck on an idea. We have some example prompts. I think there's everything from a dog meetup app in there. I'm trying to think of what else is in there. That's just the first one that's coming to mind. But there's some ideas that we have at the bottom of that document. Again, that is on the webinar hub. That link is pinned to the top of the chat. And in just a moment, I'm going to set my timer too. So remember, the goal is not to be perfect. You just want to have a clear enough idea that AI understands what to generate. And while you're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste our prompt. I'm going to put that in the chat. And that might just make it a little bit easier for folks. Go ahead and do it that way. All right, incoming into the chat. There we go. We've got our brainstorming prompt. And again, we're going heads down. We're going to have you fill in the audience. So who's your application for? Who are your users? If your user is yourself, just describe yourself. In what manner will you be using your application? And then we will also need a use case. And that can really be anything your heart desires. It's so cliche to say, but it really can be any idea. We've had a coffee shop finder app. We've had a dry cleaning laundry application. We did a composting application. Just trying to throw some ideas your way while you're brainstorming. If it's too much for you, I'll just put myself on mute. Okay, I tracked down some more ideas just in case you're stuck. I see someone's already in here. All right, we've got a personal spending tracker. And this one is a personal spending tracker for adults that have multiple financial accounts. Interesting idea. I see a simple habit tracker. A simple habit tracking app for busy professionals who want to build better daily routines. That one sounds pretty cool. Oh, the dog meetup app. That one's intermediate. It's a neighborhood dog meetup app for dog owners who want to socialize their pets and discover nearby play events. And that one's intermediate because it uses the Google Location Services API. It's free to use, but it's a few extra steps. That's why I'm actually going to not recommend you do the dog meetup app. I'm going to give folks about 1 or 2 more minutes here to wrap up your prompt. And again, we're going to use this prompt in the next step. I'm going to paste in the chat this personal spending tracker one. And Marcelo, if you're waiting for me, just go ahead and let it rip, honestly. I feel confident you'll do it just as well as I would. This one's pretty interesting. Okay. Just reading through it. I'm going to paste this in the chat. Cool. I pasted one of those examples in the chat. Oh, I like this. An app for adult children who are caretakers of an older parent. Ooh, that's a good sector to be in right now, honestly. So we have aging population here in the United States. And just below the one Tracy posted, and Tracy, that's great. So nice job there. Just below that one is the personal spending tracker. So in just a few seconds here, we're going to get ready to move on to the next step. So if for some reason you're a little behind, feel free to copy and paste that prompt just so you have something to start with, just so you can kind of go through the motions here with us. And I'm going to go ahead and move us to the next slide. And that's going to be our build steps. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to copy our prompt that we just made. So wherever you've got it at, if you're working out of the worksheet, if it's in the worksheet, or if maybe you wrote it down in your notes there, I guess you probably typed it. Go ahead and copy and paste that into the prompt here inside of Lovable. So if you're, for some reason, you are not seeing something similar to what you see on my screen, it's at night where I'm at. So Lovable has built-in modes. Lovable's, this is the dark mode screen. If you're out on the West Coast, it might be light. It might have a white background. Just random insight for you. We'll go ahead and click the button and let Lovable generate your full application. Now this part's going to take a couple minutes. Typically it takes around 2 minutes, but again, depending on where you're at, how your internet is, it might take up to 5 minutes. So what you should see is Lovable starting to generate the screens, the front end, the back end, pretty much everything. And while it builds, you can take a moment to watch the structure come together on the left. I think I'm going to go ahead and run one of these examples on my screen. See if I can get myself back into Lovable here. Of course not. That's okay. Don't take my code, Jake. It's just easier to do it this way, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hey Dan, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So I put in my prompt and everything, and it generated a I guess I went a little bit ahead. It generated a little preview, but I can't expand it. It's almost like a little thumbnail, not a thumbnail, but like a little view. And I'm trying to expand it, and it's not letting me. I click on it, but it doesn't expand it to see. It's just kind of like it's like a video that's just playing in a loop.
Yeah, I've seen that one happen before. You might have to refresh your browser tabs. One option that you can do there. You could also manually copy and paste that preview URL into a new tab, and it'll open in a new tab that way too.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
gonna get to where you're at. Is that Abina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Sorry. Hey, let me turn my camera on. I had my camera on earlier, but
Cool. There he is. I
yeah.
recognize the voice. Awesome.
Okay, let me do what you said.
Yeah.
It also asked about like enable cloud and all of that stuff, so I didn't do that yet.
Okay, that's cool. You can enable Lovable Cloud. Is okay. So you're in the chat on the left hand side.
Yes,
right?
I see.
Yeah.
Yes, so I see. Like I entered my prompt. It thought for 14 seconds. I think it built it, and I was saying enable cloud, and I can do allow, right?
Yeah. Oh, yours built pretty fast. Okay.
Allow thinking, and then I just see add credits. Welcome to your blank app. Start building your amazing. Oh, I guess it didn't. I don't know what it's done.
Yeah.
Do I have to publish it now?
Not yet. Not yet. Oh, but if you want, you could share your screen, and I could take a look really quick. We're doing pretty good on time here. We've got a couple more minutes. Again, I built a little bit of time into some of these steps. So, and I'll also say this too. We've run this demo a little over 10 times. I have once before had some issues. If worse comes to worse, the cool thing about Lovable is you could just completely tell it to just delete it. You could go back to your dashboard and delete it and restart. Again, like the power of speed of prototyping, right? I saw it. It was presenting there a moment ago. Then I saw it.
Oh, it was okay. Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my prompt.
Uh-huh.
I refreshed the screen, but then it went blank. I don't know if Maybe I should plug in the prompt again.
4.50 credits remaining. Ben, it looks like you might be out of credits here. If
I
anyone,
didn't use. That's what it started out with.
did you start out with 15?
No, 4.5.
Yeah,
I registered for Lovable. Remember when we did our thing? You know, it made me register.
Yeah. So, in your case, you didn't get the free credits through that link. We've had this happen before too. So, what I can do is send you a code right now that's actually going to get you 100 credits. Now, the only caveat here is it is going to ask you to put in credit card information. However, it's going to give you 30 days to cancel it. So, if you're interested in doing that, I'm just going to drop the code in the chat.
How many credits do I need to do this exercise?
Oh, for tonight, shouldn't take any more than 15. 10 to 12 has been the range.
I can sign up again with the link, and then because I have a different email I can sign up with, and then maybe that might be better.
Well, let me see what happens if you click that add credits button. I'm curious if anyone else is in is in that spot too. So if you click upgrade, let's just actually if you you just click upgrade. I think that might be on the lowest. Yeah, I think this is where it'll ask for.
They want your money, so they're gonna ask for it.
Yeah, exactly. So where it says add promotion code, you'd be my guinea pig here if you want. I could
yeah, sure.
Get it here.
I'll take all the credits.
Awesome. Well, it's 100 credits, which is cool. And the reason why I didn't start out that way to begin with is because it does require you to put in some credit card information. So the other,
it's already pulled in my.
All right, let me get.
We might as well try it. So okay, so so maybe this is a good time to bring this up. In terms of Lovable, right? So this is the first time I'm trying something like this.
Oh, good.
My concern is when you're working with a developer, like a real analog human being, flesh and blood developer, that code is a little bit more secure. Like you could have it in GitHub or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
What if something happens to Lovable, meaning like they go bankrupt, right? Their business model isn't working. So how do you get like, what is this? How do you hedge against that? Like, can you put this in GitHub? Can you?
Yeah, they integrate directly with GitHub. I mean, they integrate with a lot of third-party APIs. I think in total, gosh, there's got to be about 24 APIs out of the box. There's like the Google API, and with that, you get.
Do they have AWS?
They do. They have AWS.
Okay.
Pretty much all the heavy hitters that are out there, they have direct integration with, which is great. You can also download it's producing actual code. It's actually using Claude on the back end. So it's producing React code that you could share with the developer. Now, we get asked this question a lot. You could, not tonight, but in a more advanced like enterprise environment, you want to feed it all that input first. So you do want to pair up with your engineers, and you do want to start to get the guardrails that essentially the best practices for how the engineers practice, right? Like, what are our best practices for coding? You want to plug those in to Lovable.
Into the prompt. Into the prompt.
Exactly. So the prompt obviously gets larger, more processes happen, right? So it's a lot more involved. And that's why we're not doing that tonight. But and then as far as security, it's up to you. If you're going to run your code on Lovable servers, their servers are ISO 27001 compliant. They are SOC 2 compliant. They're kind of the garden variety of your normal IT compliancy, right? So they're secure is what I'm saying. But if you're in a more secure environment, let's just say HIPAA type environment, maybe it's healthcare, you probably are better off on just ingesting that code and using it to pair with your developers. So if the developers are giving those guidelines on the way in, and you're ideating with your product owners and giving a really good, clear prompt, it's really easy to just take that code and work with that development team. Now tonight we are the development team. We're building our own right now.
All right, give me the discount code.
Oh, it's in it's Big Nerd Design. Try that for me.
Lowercase or uppercase? I guess that's the Big Nerd Design.
Okay, Tracy says the same thing. Seeing that too. Mine built with only 4.5 credits remaining.
Okay, so Big Nerd Design.
Yeah, give that a go.
Okay.
So yeah, that gets you 1 month for free. There you go. They just sent that to me. And that, I mean, that's a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. You could build more than one application. You can build several applications. They just
maybe I can become a millionaire by the end of the month.
Awesome. Let me share my presentation with you. Hopefully everyone's app is done building. If your application is out of credits, you may use that the same process I just went through there with Obina and get those 100 free credits. Again, that's going to get you 30 free days on Lovable, which is super cool. So that's plenty enough. I'll also mention too that that's plenty enough to integrate with their native AI as well. So if you want to build an app with like a chat bot, for example, that's native to Lovable, which is super cool. Again, that uses Claude on the back end. So essentially you get Claude built into your application too.
So I think mine built. I don't know if you want me to share my screen again, but.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to move us a little bit forward, but I will take a pause here real quick and take a look at the chat and see where some folks are at. All right, Nick's got an app up. Tracy hit the same thing open. I hit. I'm not sure why. Ben's good to go. Okay. We're just a couple minutes over our time here, which is just okay. I've got a couple places where I can. Yeah, if you're somewhere where it's like evening time, 7, 8 p.m. like East Coast, your network might be a little busy. We have a pretty fast network here, but I can also see that it's throttled back a little bit. Okay, let me grab my presentation again. We're going to jump back in. It did not like me. Definitely did not like me signing out earlier. Now, if your application is finished, spend a minute or two going through it. That's the next most important part. So just go heads down for a couple minutes. If you spot something that's off, just switch back over to Lovable in the editor. In the editor, there's also an actual edit view down there at the bottom of the input as well. So you can actually go in and edit things through the visual editor. That's maybe a little more advanced, but if you're interested in exploring around that way, you're more than welcome to. But clean up any labels, fix any links, adjust any spacing, maybe regenerate a screen or two if you need to. You kind of think of this as your acceptance testing. So you're the stakeholder again tonight, and the builder at the same time. So this is where AI speeds up both sides of that process. So once you have your updates in place, you can refresh and preview again. And I will an account and log it, but I can only see the landing page. Okay. If it starts going off the rails too, I've seen it do that occasionally. You may just have to talk to it a little bit, have a little conversation. It's not perfect. It's close though. We are running applications with actual users right now. So I mean, it does have the capacity to, you know, take payments, use third-party APIs. We've got all those things running in some applications. Stay tuned for more on that as well, as we complete some more projects. But if anyone's completely lost too, don't feel ashamed to let me know in the chat. I am here to help you over these next couple minutes while we go through our applications. We're clean them up a little bit. Hopefully our link worked, and if not, maybe maybe you're willing to use that code for some credits. I don't get anything out of that, by the way. I'm not paid for or sponsored through this, but we are supported by Lovable, which is great. They helped us out tremendously this evening, their community team. They're based out of Sweden. So some of their folks were going to make it tonight, but it just wasn't feasible for them. They'll still get this recording. And then I've got a little survey at the end for you too. We're close to the end here. We've got about, I want to say about 20 more minutes to go. Our next step after we're feeling pretty confident in our applications is going to be to user test them to get a quick round of fast feedback. I work in corporate. Oh, yes. Yeah, I hear you. That's funny. Okay. On our normal hackathon mode, which we might run for our next webinar, we would pause and review everyone's applications. But tonight is more just about getting a little more familiar with the technology and with the process. If this is your first time using AI at all, congratulations. And I guess a couple tips I'll say: just be patient. It'll, you know, and just like anything else, a little bit of practice, you get the hang of it, and you'll kind of realize where it can enhance your strengths and where you can plug it in to maybe overcome some of your weaknesses. I think Jake's presentation was like a great setup to this, right? Like, AI is not here to replace people. But if we learn how to use it a little more effectively and responsibly, go back to Steph's presentation there, we can get far. But again, good inputs equals awesome outputs. I'm going to move us on to our next slide. Registration for this should be a little bit easier. We're going to go ahead and take our application, and we are going to plug it into UserBrain to get some live feedback from some end users. So I'll ask you now to go ahead and sign up for UserBrain. I'll go ahead and paste that chat. It's just userbrain.com. That one's pretty easy. I'll paste that into the chat here. And what I'll ask you to do is just click on that Start Free Trial button. And if you want, you can take a peek below there. You can see some of the companies that are using UserBrain. You see Amazon, Spotify, Audi, Shopify. It's legit. I've used it quite a bit in the past in a corporate environment, and personally think it's great. And compared to some of the other testing platforms that are out there, it's the most affordable. Again, I'm not, this is not sponsored by UserBrain. I'm not paid by SponsorBrain to tell you that, but genuinely, I've just found it in my practice to be the most helpful tool when it comes to remote user testing sessions. You can really do anything from here too. You could do A/B testing. Oh, there's a lot that you can do. If you already have a user brain account, this exercise will just use 2 credits. And if your current account is for some reason running low, same with Lovable, you could just create a fresh Gmail address. That should work for you. And just a quick overview how this workflow is going to work for this part of our process. We're going to create those user brain accounts. We're going to generate a new test from our dashboard. That test is going to take anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes. So for the folks that it might take a little bit longer, we might not get to see your results during the workshop, but you'll definitely still get your results tonight. Some folks might get those results right away, which will be cool. So we can maybe take a look at some of those and review some of those insights. I have some to share you based off of some past projects as well. So it'll give you an idea what you can expect once your test is done. And then if we have time at the end, we're going to take those insights from our test and we're going to paste those back into Lovable and regenerate our presentation. Tracy, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm looking at Lovable and curious how I can get the URL for my newly created app.
Yeah. Oh, good question. So in your preview window, let me see if I can pull it up on my
Do I
screen.
publish?
You should be able, and it's interesting. It sounds like you and Obina are both experiencing the same UI bug within Lovable. From what you've been just described and what we saw Obina experience before, I know what you're experiencing, which is wild. Okay, so let me see if I can just get into my work account, my main work account here. And I will show you from my screen, Tracy, what exactly you'll be looking for. And then if there's a bug.
I could also share my screen if you want me to. Just let me know.
Yeah. We could do that too, either way.
All right. Don't laugh at my 700 tabs that are open.
I already am. I'm sorry. I didn't say I wouldn't. Okay. I just
Exactly. All right. So.
Oh yeah. So right in the middle of your screen.
Mhm.
So you see that little arrow? Click on that little arrow. Yeah, right there. And see if that opens up in a new tab for you. Did it?
Yes, it did.
It did. Okay. So I think in Obina's case, what I think might be happening is pop-ups are blocked. And then in other cases, sometimes the pop-up goes behind. Oh, look at you, what you made. Now we do get to see what somebody made. Oh, very cool. Oh, you have some security errors. I see.
Are you talking to me? Sorry. So if for some reason it's not refreshing, let me reschedule. Let me resend.
Yeah.
I want to reshare.
You bet. Yeah, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why the hackathons are fun. I get to see what everyone made at the end. I think we are going to do a hackathon for our next webinar.
Can you?
Oh,
There we go.
oh wow. Yeah. Nice.
So,
Oh wow.
it is a fully functioning app. I also signed in and I can see the dashboard. But I'm curious, when we do our test now, should I just use this same URL?
Yes, because unless you're already paying for a monthly Lovable subscription,
Mhm.
your preview links should always be publicly accessible.
Okay.
So you should be able, and here's how we can actually test this really quick. If you'd like to take that URL and then open up a incognito window, you could just paste that link in, and if you can see the application through that incognito window, you should be good to go. Oh, it's going to make you sign into Lovable. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and that's fine. In this case, we're going to go ahead and have you click that publish button.
Okay.
And in your case, this is a good use case here, Tracy. I see you have some security errors. So this kind of relates to a question that was asked earlier, which is, how secure is it? What's already identified some issues in the code it wrote. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's because I asked it to enable Stripe. I was just seeing how far it would go.
Okay. Well, and then in that case, I'll tell you what you would normally do is you just click the blue button, and it's kind of like reminds me of troubleshooting with my mom in the 90s on the computer. Like, just click next, just click next, just click next. But essentially, that's what that process or that workflow is going to look like, where it's just going to say, hey, I see there's an issue here. Let's try to work through it. Some of those might take a little bit longer to remediate than others. And that's okay. Now, for folks that are watching and following along kind of to where Tracy's out here, if you clicked your blue publish button, let's go ahead and do that now. If you haven't done that already, let's go ahead and do that now. And Tracy, in your case, what you can do, there's actually undo in the left-hand side in the chat there. If you scroll up a little bit and hover over some of the messages, you'll see like either flags on some of them, which allow you to bookmark. You also see a little, what looks like a back button that'll let you revert back to that point in time. Which that's also another like helpful tip for folks out there too. If you went a little too overboard, there's an undo built in.
Got that. Okay.
Thank you for kind of, I hate to use the term guinea pig, but thanks for being the guinea pig here, Tracy. This is awesome. Yeah, this is exactly what you would do. And this is another reason why I like Lovable. It's like if you get too far ahead, or if you're like, uh-oh, I'm lost, you just go back, and then you can go again. Now it's not the same as hitting Command Z or Control Z, right? But their application allows you to go back, which is really cool. Now, if you see, I could tell your application's pretty cool, but I could also tell you asked for some advanced functionality. This is so cool, though. Kudos to you for I'll tell you this too. If you've gotten to this point, you're in really good shape. Yeah, Tracy, your application's pretty good one. So yeah, you just copy that link, and then that's the link that we're going to use to generate our test. So in our next, we'll call it 5 to 7 minutes, we're going to set up our test in UserBrain. Make sure I'm still sharing the right screen over here.
And I did publish, and I did get the URL, so that's awesome.
Yes. Okay, that's exactly where we want to be. Is with the URL. And if you're not there quite yet, that's okay. Don't fret. We're gonna have some instructions to send you afterwards, so you can kind of go through step by step here and finish up your application. If you do have a functioning application right now, cool. And pat yourself on the back. Tracy, I might want to talk to you afterwards. That's pretty sweet. All right, is this flip over to one more screen here. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. All right, for our next steps, we're going to create our tasks in UserBrain. If you're already a little further ahead, cool, kudos. If you're still catching up, that's okay too. And if you're following along with me, we're going to do this one together. We're going to create a new test in UserBrain. That's why it was so important for us to be able to get that application. There is a setting in Lovable to make your previews publicly accessible. I will call out that prior to this meeting, to my knowledge, they were, if you had a public account and not a private account, so, or like a monthly subscription. So that might even be a new thing to me. I'll make a note of that on my end. But we're going to use auto create within UserBrain. So we're not going to have to spend a whole lot of time in here to write our test. We will go through our test real quick to edit it as needed. We'll add a screener question to it as well. And then we'll run our test. And again, I'm probably not going to have enough time to go through all of our insights tonight, but you should get your recordings back, and I'll show you what you can expect to see once those recordings are done. All right, let me find my tab here. And we'll go over to User Brain. Usertesting.com is also another great tool that we like to use as well. But in our case here, on User Brain, that one costs a little bit more, but they have a slightly larger pool of users, just in case you're wondering. Okay, we're going to set up our test. So from our dashboard, we're going to click the Create New Test button. We are going to test a website since we have a URL to test with. Going to give our test a name. We're going to go ahead and insert your prototype or your test link below that. And I'm just seeing this doesn't following along with me here. There we go. We're going to click the Auto Create with AI button. Now it's going to ask us for a website description. So here you can add in the same prompt that you used to build your application with. In my case, I'm just going to use the same example that I pasted into the chat earlier. I'm going to go ahead and click the Create Tasks button. And from our description of the application, it's going to go ahead and set up a few tasks for us. And now you will want to take a minute just to read through these. I'm reading through them as I scroll down the page. And if you see anything in your task that maybe don't align with what you saw in some of the workflows that you had in your application, you go ahead and make a couple tweaks. And if you just want to go through the motions here just to see the process work, you could just go with what the AI generated, honestly, just for the sake of brevity. These tests will normally take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. And once you feel like you're happy with the task that you see there in your test, I'm going to go ahead and have you click that Get Testers button down in the lower right. Oh, that's fine. I put in a Figma prototype, but that's okay. And then our next step here, we are going to order some user testers from our panel. Here we have the option to specify our device. So if your application, if you built a mobile application, for example, you would want to set that to mobile phones. The application that I built is a responsive web app, so it works on computers and phones. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that selected. You can also specify the country. My language is in English, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with the United States of America. That's a good place to start. You can also opt to not specify a country as well. These are all optional. You can also specify an age range. My application's for everybody. And now I've tested with some folks over the past 30 days, so I'm going to exclude those folks from this test so that we don't get those folks from previous panels mixed up in this. I would also highly advocate you add a screener question here down at the bottom. If you've never written a screener question before, what you could do now at this point is you could just paste your prompt into Gemini or ChatGPT and just ask it to create one for you. It's actually what I'm going to do on my end. Again, I love having these AI powered tools just to make. I did the thinking, but I don't have time to write that much right now. So we're just going to go ahead and ask it to write write a screener question is what I'm asking it for a user test. And if you've been through this process before, feel free to go ahead and write your screener question. Now, for my application, it's a budgeting app. So I'm going to ask, how do you currently keep track of your personal finances? And then I'm going to drop in a couple options here. First option here is I use a budgeting, we're just going to say I use a budgeting app. And we're going to go ahead and approve those folks. Because in this instance, I would like to test with some folks that have used a similar application before. And on the opposite side of the coin, I'm going to ask, I don't actively track my finances, and I'm going to reject those folks. Because again, I'm just trying to target an audience that's used a budgeting application before. I'm going to click save here in just a moment. But before I do, you can see a little error pop up on my screen. And what that error is going to tell me is that I haven't effectively written a screener question properly. And that's okay, just for the sake of this demonstration. Let's see if it does it to me. Oh, I didn't get it this time. Okay, great. Awesome. Sometimes I get it, but it has an internal AI tool. When you actually create your screener question, it's going to observe it. And then it's going to let you know if it thinks it's a viable screener question or not, based off of what it already knows about the pool of people that it's going to go and test with. So cool thing is I see down here at the bottom, it says that there's plenty of testers available, that I should expect results within 24 hours. Again, I mentioned that earlier, it might take up to a day. We generally see these results come back in as soon as 5 to 15 minutes. In our normal MVP process, we can get 3 or 4 rounds of user testing done in one day. So if I had to compare that and how we would normally do that, the traditional way, it would normally take a day to set up the test, a day to do the test, a day to analyze all of the results, probably a day to distribute all of those results to our stakeholders and some nice template. So, you know, essentially what I just showed you now is we signed up, we wrote a test, we wrote a screener question, and we're about to run a test on an actual application. That's something that used to take us an entire week to do. We're talking up to 40 hours. Not only can we do that now in 15 minutes, but once you start to get good at it, you'll be able to go even faster. And again, it's not, like Jake said, it's not about speed. It's really about the quality of the results that you're getting back, and really using these tools the right way to enhance your skills, not to replace any part of the process. You're still doing all of the thinking. You're just using the tools to speed up these mechanical processes, right? I'm going to place an order for 2 testers. That may be what you're seeing on your screen, because 2 free testers should have come with your account. This is my actual work account, so I'm not going to order these testers because that'll charge me for them. But my next step from here would be to click this place order button. Hey, we got Matt coming in last minute. Welcome in, Matt. Matt, we're just wrapping up, but I'm gonna hang out for a little bit. Now, what you should be seeing on my screen right now is it's going to go out, and using the criteria that I provided, so using that screener question and using the test that we generated, or that we let AI generate based off of our prompt, which we wrote, and it's going to find, specifically within that audience, it's going to find some test users. Now, when this test is done running, what we will get back is a series of recordings and clips. We'll get a full report of all of the questions that we asked. We'll get a full report of all of the answers. You can see here we're in blue. There's this little link here to where it says AI. And you'll actually be able to watch, this is a test on our website here, but you'll be able to watch all of your users going through your application step by step, leaving feedback. So that's one of my favorite things about UserBrain. I think my most favorite thing about UserBrain is when it's done, it goes through all of those videos. And it's like, again, if you remember our traditional method of even if you're doing this digitally, affinity diagramming all of this feedback, right? We're talking hundreds of data points here. So it's going to do that for us. And essentially our next step from here, we're a little short on time, so I'm going to cut us a little short here, but our next step is just to literally copy and paste this feedback or feedback that we feel is the most relevant. I don't advise you put everything in there. You may want to cherry pick maybe the few things that you see the most feedback around. So for example, in our test here, we saw some user confusion and some usability issues. So those are areas where I would want to target first, right? And just make sure that we shore those up in Lovable before we release our application again. And then that cycle pretty much just continues throughout the day. So again, I mentioned earlier, I think we're getting now 3 to 4 cycles in per day. If it's a larger application, maybe 2 or 3, but still, we're going from 40 hours a week, cutting that process all the way down to hours, essentially, which is really what enables us to get those MVPs out the door so fast, right? It's not about how much we can do, how fast we can do it. It's the quality of what we're doing, making sure everything aligns with our business needs and our users' end goals. All right, back into my presentation here. All over the place, too many tabs. Some other things to look for in those usability tests. I've outlined some of that here in our slides as well. So you can find these slides again on our webinar hub. Link is anchored at the top of the chat. And these couple of slides are just going to dive a little bit deeper into what you'll be looking for in those usability tests, and then guide you through those last steps. I know in today's instance, this was a little bit out of order. We actually published first. I'll have to go back and fix this for my next presentation. But in our next steps, we would have hit that publish button, but we went ahead and did that a little bit earlier so that would enable us to get that link out to our users and our UserBrain test. Big deep breath. Almost stayed in our time box. That's not bad. We started a few minutes late. I want to thank our presenters one more time. Jake, Steph, if you're still with us, thank you so much. I enjoyed your presentations. Again, we've got Jake and Steph's information, as well as my presentation, my information on these slides, as well as on our webinar hub link. Almost tired of saying that tonight. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. I know those last steps went a little bit faster than we wanted to, but I'm sure we'll make some adjustments for our next webinar. Speaking of which, I have a survey here in just a minute for you. That next webinar, it's going to be on January 15th. I believe that's another Thursday. We've got some links to our website here for you, out to Big Nerd Design, out to our academy. Special thanks to Rachel. Rachel, I don't know if you're on the call with us, but thank you so much for helping me organize this. Just kind of get through everything. We published a lot of content. This was a lot for us. So couldn't have got through it without Rachel and Nicola as well. Thank you, Nicola, for your inspiration. Huge shout out to the community team at Lovable for the free credits, for the guidance. We will be sending out some more information about some free assets that Lovable gave us as well. There's some really good playbooks that they gave us. Here is a link to those 2 surveys. So the first one there is going to be for Lovable. It's just going to ask you some questions about the build process. Tracy Obina, I would highly encourage you to take that survey. because what you experienced tonight, or some of the issues that you saw tonight, I think would just be good feedback. I think maybe you could present it or kind of frame it as like how it could be better for them and how it can be better for us. And speaking of which, there's the satisfaction survey link down there at the bottom. I'm also going to post that in the chat. And what you're going to see there is just a few questions on our presentations tonight. We want to get better at doing this. We would love to continue doing these webinars. We really appreciate your patience tonight with some of the technical difficulties. Huge shout out again to Steph for going first. And I think that is going to be everything I have for you. I am going to hang out for a while though and answer questions and get a game of Among Us going. So if you maybe didn't get to ask a question earlier, maybe you got hung up on a step or two, feel free to hang out and ask. If you just want to hang out and have a beverage, feel free to do that too. If you want to play some Among Us, I'm looking forward to that. So definitely hang out. And again, thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording and again, hang out for a little bit.